When sex work shows up in mainstream culture, it's rarely depicted as the ordinary, complex labor that it is. Instead, it's boxed into one of two caricatures: the tragic victim or the glamorous hustler. Tabloid headlines, reality TV, and glossy magazine profiles often play up stories of women who supposedly made it big, while crime shows and news specials focus on fallen women to be rescued. These dueling myths, pity on one end, glamour on the other, do the same kind of damage. They erase the daily realities of people who engage in sex work to survive, to provide for their families, or to pursue financial independence. While the tragic victim trope props up carceral feminism, the glamorous and easy money myth is its cultural twin. Both flatten sex workers into archetypes that serve someone else's agenda, while ignoring the truth that sex work, like all forms of labor, exists on a spectrum and is shaped by the same structural forces that shape every other job market: inequality, precarity, and lack of protections. Why this myth persists. Pop culture thrives on extremes, not nuance. There's no viral appeal in telling the story of a sex worker who balances shifts, childcare, and rent payments like any other worker. Instead, media gravitates towards spectacle. Hollywood scripts, from Pretty Woman to countless crime dramas, frame sex work as either a glamorous escape into luxury or a tragic downfall, rarely showing it as repetitive, difficult labor. Social media adds another layer. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram amplify sugar baby aesthetics and curated OnlyFans content that highlight material perks while leaving out the long hours, constant self promotion, and emotional toll. Criminalization makes the problem worse, since workers can't always share the unfiltered truth about exhaustion, harassment, or burnout without risking exposure or arrest. Finally, this myth persists because it's a form of moral deflection. Society finds it easier to imagine sex work as quick money than to face the truth that many workers are locked out of traditional jobs due to discrimination, criminal records, disability, or caregiving responsibilities. What the facts actually say. The reality of sex work is far less glamorous and far more ordinary than popular culture admits. It is labor intensive, involving emotional management, physical work, strict scheduling, marketing, and constant client communication. Online workers spend hours maintaining social media accounts, creating content, and replying to messages, while in-person workers navigate safety screenings, travel, and negotiations. Earnings are unstable, much like other gig economies, and fluctuate depending on season, demand, competition, and platform algorithms. Some workers do well financially, but many barely scrape by. Even those with higher earnings face systemic barriers. Housing, banking, and healthcare access are often blocked by stigma and criminalization. Turnover is high, with many workers moving in and out of the industry multiple times, usually driven by financial necessity rather than glamour or choice. In short, sex work is neither a fast track to riches nor a guaranteed path to ruin. It is precarious labor shaped by the same economic forces driving people into other informal or gig-based jobs. How the confusion causes harm. The easy money myth is not harmless. It directly undermines sex workers' fight for rights and protections. When policymakers assume sex work is lucrative, they neglect workers' need for basic labor protections, benefits, and safety nets. The public, too, often dismisses the struggles of low-income or marginalized sex workers, assuming everyone in the industry is financially secure. Services such as housing or healthcare frequently deny or shame workers because of the belief that they can just pay for it with their supposed easy money. And when workers report unsafe conditions or exploitation, society downplays their experiences, framing them as choices made in pursuit of fast cash. What needs to change? To dismantle this myth, we must replace spectacle with reality. First, sex work must be acknowledged as labor, work that deserves rights, protections, and respect. Media portrayals need to be challenged when they glamorize or reduce workers to stereotypes. Policy and advocacy should be centered on real worker voices, ensuring that the challenges, joys, and strategies of survival shape the narrative. And finally, systemic barriers must be addressed. Decriminalization and labor protections would give sex workers access to the same safety nets as other workers, reducing the precarity that makes the easy money myth so misleading.